right now on 5 on your side at 10. First at 10, we are in a weather impact alert. You're taking a live look downtown St. Louis. Rain is moving back into the area as the threat of stronger storms grows for tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. I'm Robert Townsend. We are watching out for possible damaging winds and tornadoes for Easter Sunday. Let's get right over to meteorologist Gary Frank with everything you need to know going into the holiday.
Yeah, good evening, Robert. Last night we were talking about, especially Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, tracking the potential for stronger storms. We were waiting for them to develop, and then a severe thunderstorm watch was in place until 3 a.m. There was a small handful of stronger wind reports, but there's nothing like that before you go to bed right now. So I want to kind of prepare you for that. We're not looking at that right now. Some rain has settled in. Here's where the core of the severe weather is all part of the system that will impact us for tomorrow. But right now, south of Oklahoma City, you'll see all those polygons lined up from flash flooding to severe thunderstorm warnings to even tornado warnings. Now, that cluster of storms eventually will impact us by tomorrow morning, but not in very much a vigorous way because of the timing of it. It's going to be a little bit more tranquil, but that's our overnight thunderstorm potential. Right now, it's quiet, and because it's quiet, that mitigates our flooding threat. We've seen 24-hour rainfall totals that have exceeded 2, 3, and 4 inches, and just looking at some of these spots, over 2 inches, about 1.5 inches. In Chesterfield, we've had some localized 4- and 5-inch reports as well. As we look downtown, wind is maybe up a little bit from where it was, but not much. 56. It's not all that changed from when we saw you at 5 and 6. But for tonight, we have rain and rumbles, especially after 1 or 2 a.m., but no severe weather. I do think Sunday morning, rain exits by 9 a.m., and then the severe potential ramps up after 4 o'clock. And that's going to be an important thing for us here as we talk about our severe weather impacts. So like you said, wind gusts, tornadoes, those are probably our 2 biggest threats, depending on where you are, with hail and even flooding a threat as well. We'll talk about that from top to bottom. I want to time out the driest portions of your Easter Sunday and when we'll start to see those storms develop off to the west and who's in that enhanced risk here as we talk about that again in 10 minutes.
People living in Arnold have already survived EF2 tornadoes, high winds, hail, and now face a flooding threat. New tonight, 5 on your side's Annie Kroll hears from residents about how tomorrow's rain will be just the latest chapter of spring storm prepping.
It's only drizzling. It's not raining hard.
That's the optimistic outlook for many in the Arnold area who faced a lot worse, especially during the March 14th tornadoes, not to mention dealing with rising water just in the last few years.
On Merrimack Bottom, it'll be up to the top of the street sign.
With all this water near the Merrimack River, there may not be somewhere for it to go.
So saturation-wise, down by the river, you saw that it's already full of water, and it will just get worse.
In some spots not far off the Merrimack Greenway Trail, the forest, it looks more like a swamp. And neighbors who live just across the street say they're going to see a number of animals taking shelter out of the woods and traffic needing to change course as well.
Merrimack Bottom was just closed about a week ago for a day or two. So we have to cut up through 21, Tesson Ferry, or go through the subdivisions, which I'm sure the neighbors love.
Bruce and Diana Linders have lived in the Susan Woods subdivision for 42 years, saying they've seen it all when it comes to weather. But with Easter Sunday, the Linders aren't letting the weather rain on their parade.
We'll go to church and I'll make a nice Easter dinner, and that's about it. We don't really have any big plans for Easter.
Enjoy life. Don't worry about the weather. Don't drive through flooded water, and be happy.
About 5.5 miles away near Palm Creek, neighbors in Pleasant Valley Terrace also have varying levels of concern for Sunday's rain. But what's close to their land is hard to miss.
Sort of looks like a lake.
One neighbor didn't want to go on camera, but said she has her car packed with pillows and blankets if she needs to flee the creek.
The water builds up pretty fast in their backyard.
The Jefferson County Office of Emergency Management tells us they will be pushing out real-time storm updates on social media. Annie Kroll, 5 on your side.
Remember, you can always get the latest updates on the weather impact forecast on the free 5 Plus streaming app. Just search KSDK in your app store. You can also get updates sent straight to your phone by texting weather to 314-425-5355. Developing tonight, police arrested a DeSoto man for stabbing another man with a sword. Police say 40-year-old Rodney Cox broke into a University City apartment yesterday. The apartment owner's dog scared him off. That's when police tell us Cox kicked in the door of another apartment and stabbed that man in the chest with a full-length sword. The victim was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. We're still working to find out his condition. Tonight, St. Louis City Police are cracking down on reckless drivers. Police say they found a group of dirt bikers near Broadway and Choteau last night running multiple red lights. That's in the South St. Louis area. Officers say they pose a danger to the community. When officers tried to stop the bikers, they tell us they drove away multiple times. Police arrested 2 of the riders. Tonight, they are still investigating this case. Right now, St. Louis City is in the middle of a sinkhole situation. Today, 5 on your side was alerted to 2 more massive sinkholes in the area. This one you see here formed near 14th Street and Park Avenue. That's near LaSalle Park. The Metropolitan Sewer District is investigating what caused it. And then this one, check it out, near Potomac Street and Minnesota Avenue on the city's south side. Those sinkholes popped up just a day after a 20-foot deep sinkhole opened up in North City on Cass Avenue. MSD says a 100-year-old sewer collapsed, causing the ground there to cave in. Officials say the rain may definitely impact repairs.
You mentioned the weather. That's certainly a factor with that. The holiday weekend can factor in. So it may be several days before you see a lot of activity out here, but we're working as quickly as possible to return this area to normal.
MSD says they were last out less than 2 years inspecting that area, and there was no indication of any problems at the time. Right now, MSD is asking onlookers to stay back and respect the safety barriers. Today, people in St. Charles County are fighting back in the revived battle over abortion rights. Voters struck down Missouri's abortion ban last year, but the state house passed a bill just days ago seeking to reverse that decision. This rally, just one of 4 happening across the state today. Protesters say their voices and their votes matter.
We voted for it, and the fact that they can just say, well, they voted for it, but no, we don't think so. I mean, that's not America. That's not what our democracy is about. I mean, why did we vote?
We're not overturning this. Our vote yesterday did not do anything other than say we're going to put this back on the ballot with maybe a better bill or a better option and let the people vote on it.
If the bill passes in the Senate, it would need to go back to the voters and be approved to go into effect. The shot heard around the world comes back around, how Americans are remembering the country's fight for freedom. Easter expenses, a holiday price hike sends shoppers hopping mad, how families are jumping into action to save their celebrations.
We're tracking this line of rain that continues to push up from the southwest. Nothing severe overnight, but it's tomorrow that we're more concerned about. We'll track the strongest portion of the afternoon and what part of your Easter Sunday may be impacted.
Developing tonight, Russian President Vladimir Putin is declaring an Easter ceasefire in Ukraine. Russia has now stopped all military action in the country until Monday morning. Russia will also release nearly 250 Ukrainian prisoners of war. Putin says he hopes this proves Russia can hold peaceful negotiations. Tonight marks 30 years since the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, the deadliest homegrown terrorist attack in American history. 168 people died, including close to 20 children, after a truck filled with bombs exploded outside a federal building. Today, first responders, state and national leaders held a remembrance service to honor the victims. Former President Bill Clinton says America's response to this tragedy showed how strong Americans really are.
In the end, it brought out the best in America. First responders, doctors, nurses, construction workers from all across America put their own lives on hold and showed up here.
Timothy McVeigh, the man behind the bombing, was executed back in 2011. Well, hours ago, people in Concord, Massachusetts honored the start of the Revolutionary War. The revolution began 250 years ago today. The festivities included cannon and musket salutes, as well as a wreath-laying ceremony with the first British soldier died. State leaders say they hope this event reminds people to never stop fighting for their freedoms.
Stand up. Speak out, as the people of Massachusetts did 250 years ago. Together, we will protect the freedoms that were won here, and we will not be intimidated.
There were also parades in Concord and in nearby town of Lexington.
Well, we once again continue to look at a wide area of increased severe weather threat. We'll break down what this means for you and time out storms on the way for Easter Sunday.
Easter is just a day away, and rising prices are making it harder to fill those Easter baskets. A new survey shows Americans plan to spend up to $24 billion on the holiday. That's $1 billion more from last year. NBC's Amber Frias shows us how families are getting creative to have a happy holiday.
Easter may have come at a higher price tag this year, but that's not stopping families from celebrating.
I had to get the classic chocolate bunny. See, you got some egg hunting bags and new jump rope.
From treats to traditions, many families are still making memories, even if they're skipping a few steps.
No, I mean, obviously we're not going to boil eggs.
The Reincards say they're taking a break from their annual egg dyeing tradition due to high egg prices.
The kids do like decorating them, so I don't know. I guess we're not going to do that this year.
And they're not alone. Families are finding workarounds for holiday favorites.
Yeah, well, I had to do plastic eggs for breakfast tomorrow, so hopefully they turn out okay.
For restaurants, there's no substitute. They're having to pass some cost along to customers.
You know, we hate having to raise our prices, but we did have to kind of increase the prices a little bit.
Meanwhile, others are choosing to celebrate at home, splitting the work and the cost.
It's easier when everybody kind of shares the load. Everybody brings the dish, and, you know, we kind of split it amongst ourselves. So it makes the burden less.
Even those hoping to save a little say the dollar just isn't going as far.
Yeah, I went to the dollar store. It seemed to turn into the $1.25 store this year.
But despite the cutbacks, the spirit of the holiday hasn't gone anywhere.
All for the best, right?
They may not be going all out this year, but they're still showing up.
Now, ahead of Easter, people in Alton are getting a head start on their Earth Day celebrations. Today, organizers put together the 14th annual Riverbend Earth Day Festival at the Old Bakery Beer Company. Multiple organizations hosted educational, eco-friendly, and lots of interactive activities for people to enjoy.
The key of the event, you know, the music and the beer and everything helps get people out, but what we really want is to connect people to these organizations and promote the work that they're doing in our community.
All of the merchandise and vendor items were entirely made by local businesses. Today, hey there, Gary. You know, today, of course, we're talking about these waves and waves of rain, and Easter Sunday sounds like it will definitely be a potential stormy one.
Yeah, I think so. Robert, good evening as we continue to talk about the stuff that's going on right now. It doesn't feel like it right now, of course, because it's only in the 50s, but that's one of the things that is part of the oddities that are settling around here as we have temps here in the 50s as we look outside. Upper 40s, mid 60s to the south. Eric, will you flip the prompter? Also, as we look off to the southwest, this is where we continue to see a pretty steady wave of rain from Oklahoma City, and that's where we have severe weather that's settling in as well at this point. And what you're going to notice here over the next several hours is the fact that we're still pretty dry. Now, we still have this flood watch from now through Sunday evening, but I'm feeling a little bit better about it. Now, I know that there's been some spots that have seen 4 or 5 inches of rain, but we're not seeing that steady rain continuously, so we're able to at least drain some things. The flooding potential is still there, and I think that over the next couple of hours, we'll see some light rain, but I don't think you're going to be waking up in the middle of the night quite like we did last night, right? You're still going to see some light to moderate rain, a few showers and thunderstorms, maybe a marginally severe storm tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., but keep in mind, I think it is drier by tomorrow morning. We'll pause this at 8 o'clock because look where it's dry. Now, over the next several hours, our rain chances will continue to increase, especially through past 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning. That's where I think we're the best rain chance we're going to have, and that's where we set up for a stormy Easter. Now, this is not until 4 o'clock and then all the way through 11 o'clock. Strong storms, hail, wind, even tornadoes. Prepare for that. That's our weather impact alert as we look into the second half of the day. And why are we seeing this? Well, we're going to watch this warm front that lifts north, and that's going to be responsible for keeping us out of the 40s and 50s like we are now and throughout the region. But we're going to watch this low that settles in. Around this area, that's where we're going to see the storm development by Sunday afternoon and race off to the east. And as it does so, that's why we have this big wide area that's under an enhanced risk for severe weather. You'll notice that it doesn't include the city of St. Louis, but it includes areas like Washington, Sullivan, Steelville, Troy, all the way up to the north. And you'll see that Herman as well. Rolla is included in that as well. And I don't want you to get hung up between the orange and yellow, but just know that it has to do with a timing issue and the fact that we're going to see some rain early, because we see that rain early in the morning. But I think even as we watch that warm front lift north, look at these temps in the mid 70s here, low 60s. Warm front lifts north. Do we destabilize? Do we clear out at all? If we do that, these storms are going to hold together a lot better and more favorable environment. And you'll notice where they develop. Here at 5 o'clock still, we still may be dry at this point, but those western areas, watch how that starts to come in by 6, 7 o'clock and closer to sunset. That's the strongest area where we're going to see the most favorable development for these storms to hold together as they work into the St. Louis area, Crystal City and Farmington. As they get into the Metro East, particularly central Illinois, they fizzle out a little bit. So scenarios on Sunday. If showers hang around longer, we see those clouds, limited stability. Those storms are not as strong. They still may be severe, but still not quite as bad. But if we get scenario number 2, and we're going to see that rain out of here pretty quickly, that's where we could see all types of severe weather possible for more of us. Right now, I think it looks like 60 to 75 mile an hour wind, up to golf ball size hail, and a few possible tornadoes are all in play. Those are the 2 things that I want to focus on the most, as we see some pretty good dry time in between on Sunday for your outdoor activities, services, outdoor picnics, things like that. But I think over the next few days, you're going to see temps in the mid-70s here. By tomorrow, those are the strong storms that we continue to track, and that's what we're going to be looking forward to. Otherwise, it'll be a quiet week after that. We'll have some more updates here on 5 Plus shortly.
Right. Gary, thanks a lot. Corey's here now with what's coming up in sports.
Packed day in sports, Robert. The Blues and Jets kicked off their first round playoff series in Canada. City SC looked to win a game for the first time in over a month, and the Cardinals hope to get back on track in Queens. We have a loaded sportscast coming up next. The Winnipeg Jets won the President's Cup with the most points in the NHL. The St. Louis Blues took all 82 games to clinch their playoff berth. None of that matters now. The playoffs are a new season, and the Blues look to start on the right foot in Game 1 up in Winnipeg. We spent all week talking about the great goalie matchup this series, so naturally Game 1 was an offensive affair. Blues early power play. Robert Thomas scores the first goal of the NHL playoffs. 1-0 Blues right off the bat. Later in the first, Winnipeg gets 2 quick goals a minute and 24 seconds apart. They take the lead 2-1. The crowd's going crazy. It's a whiteout in Winnipeg. But have no fear, Sonny is here. Oscar Sundqvist lights the lamp to tie things at 2. What a first period. Whole lot of goals. Blues on the power play to start the second, and an absolute snipe from Jordan Kyrou gives them the lead. Look at this one again. What a shot from Kyrou. The third period belonged to the home team, though. Alex Iafallo, that beats Binnington, ties things up. Then Kyle Connor takes the lead for the Jets with 1 minute and 36 seconds left. Winnipeg added an empty netter to win 5-3 as the Blues had just 1 shot on goal in the third period. We had some physical fireworks at the end of this one and saw the Blues out-hit Winnipeg 53-33. The Jets went on the scoreboard, though. Game 2 in Canada on Monday.
It's a little bit of execution, and it's a little bit of getting used to Stanley Cup playoffs. We got a fairly young team out there. A lot of guys playing in their first game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's why I know we will get better from it.
Just back to the drawing board for the next game. It's 1 game at a time, and we know that. It's whether you win or lose, you got to focus on that next game.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
City SC hosted a Canadian team tonight as well, the Vancouver Whitecaps. Roman Berkey's still on the mend, so another starting goal for Ben Loons. City thinks it goes up 1-0 in the 25th minute, but not so fast. Seen this before. Marcel Hartl's goal wiped out on an offsides call. Video review, brutal. City has another good chance in the first half, but Klaus just can't get his head on that one. Second half now, Loon. Nice catch in traffic. And with just a few minutes left, Conrad Wallem has a nice attempt, but no dice. It's another 0-0 draw for City. They have not won a game since March 15th.
Could have won, could have lost. I thought we had the bigger chances and didn't concede that much. We worked extremely hard, and we had a solid game, I think, against the good side.
Adam Wainwright on the call for Cardinals Mets today, and hot dog fumble. Take that shirt to the dry cleaners, Wayno. Matthew Liberatore was good on the hill, 6 2/3, 2 runs allowed. Bases loaded for the Cards in the 8th, down 2-0, and Francisco Lindor kills the Cardinals again. This day on defense to end the threat. Pete Alonso launched a mammoth shot in the bottom of the inning off John King, and the Mets win 3-0, handing the Cards their 3rd straight loss. Manny Wilkins and the Battlehawks look for a bounce-back week against Arlington, but it turned disastrous early. 5th play of the game, Wilkins goes down hurt, fumbles, and the Renegades pick it up for a touchdown. Wilkins carted off with an ankle injury. Max Duggan, your time to shine. Not much offense from St. Louis today, but they did have a chance with the clock winding down. Down 7, 4th and goal. They have to score. Duggan throws an interception that Arlington returns 100 yards to ice the game. Renegades win 30-15 to hand the Battlehawks their second straight loss.
Again, we just got to get better overall. I appreciate the effort. I really do. But, we got to find a way to execute and finish games. And right now, we're not quite playing 4 quarters.
Mizzou Gymnastics tried to win just the 3rd team national title in the University of Missouri history today. Took on Oklahoma, UCLA, and Utah in the Final Four. Tough task for the Tigers, but they put up a valiant effort. Beam national champion Helen Hu put on a show again in her signature event. However, Mizzou came up short as Oklahoma wins the national title. The Tigers were 3rd. So a lot of action. No wins to show for it. The best result today was a City SC tie. So that kind of tells you how today went in St. Louis sports.
Yeah.
It's always tomorrow, Robert.
Sorry to hear that.
There's always tomorrow.
It is. Gary's got a final check of the weather.
Yeah, overall, as we look at our conditions right now, still on the cooler side, and we're still going to look at that rain that settles in overnight. This is not severe weather, but this is all part of the system that will eventually push through tomorrow and give us our best opportunity for severe weather. That's what we're going to be talking about here shortly on 5+, so we'll just kind of continue right after the show's over.
Gary, thanks a lot. That's 5 on your side at 10. Saturday Night Live is next. Remember, we're always streaming on the 5+ app.
Yeah, I'll be signing on there once, giving another look at what's expected tomorrow as well.
And of course, Tracy Henson will also pick up our weather coverage on Today in St. Louis, starting bright and early at 6 a.m. Have a great tomorrow, everybody.
See you on 5+.